Hello there again, happy crafters. This is Claudia with White Sugar Designs, and today I'm bringing you hopefully a quick little flip through of one of my quote journals. I just recently uploaded a process video on how I created this year's I keep saying junk journal, this year's quote journal. Here it is. This is the one that you saw me do, and I wanted to just go in a little bit more detail of what this whole challenge is about. I've been getting a few questions. A few of you are interested in creating your own quote journal. So I started back in 2016, and I was just putting quotes in in just this one little journal that I had, and then I realized that it would be best if I had them organized according to a certain theme. So in case I was looking for something, I knew exactly where to go. So this year I created another list of themes for 2018, and I've just numbered them from 1 to 12, representing each of the month. If you would like to get a copy of the list, you can visit my blog at whitesugardesigns.com, and you can print it out and you can add it to the cover of your book, of your journal, so that you can refer to it. Also, when I had started back in 2016, I was trying to do one quote a day, and it just proved to be a lot of work. And so this year, actually after those 2 months back in 2016, starting in 2017, I decided I was not going to do one quote a day. And so this year, same thing. I'm just going to work on this quote journal whenever I have time, or whenever I find a quote that I really want to add to the journal. And so it's not a quote a day. I don't know how many quotes I might end up doing for January. Maybe I will do more in February than I did in January. I'm not sure. But it's just basically a place to organize all my quotes and just have some creative time. So I hope that kind of clears up a little bit of, gives you more information. And hopefully you will find it that it's not as challenging as I had made it at the very beginning. I do have a Facebook group called Creative Journals, where I post just whenever I can, and not just about my quotes or my quote journals. It's about anything related to my journals, whether it's my daily life journal, this quote journal. I have a hiking journal where I document and write about each of the hikes that my husband and I take sometimes. So anything like that will go into that Facebook group. But I wanted to show you, because I've realized that I had not done a flip through my previous quote journals. This one was actually the beginning, the very first, and believe it or not, as chunky as this is, it only holds 2 months. It does not hold an entire year. This one here, which I will end up doing a different flip through video because I don't want this one to be too long. It's not a journal, it's an actual binder. It's something that I found at Target, and I thought it was perfect for that, and I gave it a try, and I realized that I do like the journals much better. So just a quick little flip through to this one here. I can't believe I had not done a flip through video on this one. I created the cover myself. I had seen a video on how to create them using some sort of, it's a fusing material. It's not fabric, but I did cover it with fabric on the inside and also on the front. But I cannot remember what the fusing material that goes in between. So you just iron it on, and I guess the glue just kind of melts, and it helps the fabric to adhere. As you can see, it's already kind of getting a little bit frayed here, but that's totally fine. Again, because of the fact that I made it, I just love it. So let's do this really quick. I don't want to keep it too long, to make this video too long. This was just a little lined journal or notebook that I found at a very inexpensive, I think it was like $2 or something like that. But as you will see, I cover some of the pages. So I decided to reinforce the book. Here, let me just take it out. I think it will be a lot easier. I reinforced the spine because it was just getting chunkier. It is just this fabric washi tape, and then I put some shipping tape, the clear shipping tape, just to make sure that it wasn't gonna come apart because it was getting really thick. I covered the the cover page with just some little embellishments, and I cut the message here with my Cricut daily quotes. So this was my original printout that when I started the journals, and I had given myself only two, since I started back at the end of 2016. So I only have two themes. November's theme was motivation, and December's theme was faith. And then I created another 12 themes for the year of 2017. So here is starting October 1st. That's when I was just adding just random quotes. Doing what you like is freedom. Loving what you do is happiness. So this was my very first quote here. And I had covered the page. I did not like the lines, and you'll see I think I left some of them in lines like this one here. But for the most part, I ended up covering the pages with something else, whether it was a pattern paper and even just a plain paper like this one with dotted lines. Again, some of the pages you'll see I left the lines just because it was just easier. I was starting to add the date on each of the pages because, obviously to show you when I was working on those. Just very simple. Because I was trying to do one quote a day, I was trying not to make it too complicated. But sometimes if I felt really inspired, I went a little bit overboard and, just started embellishing just to make things a little bit prettier. I was using a date, one of those little roller date stamps to add the dates. I'm not gonna read all the quotes, but hopefully you'll be able to see. You can pause the video if there's something that you like. On this page here, I did a little bit of doodling, a lot of washi tape used in some of these pages, and also, as you can tell, I was printing a lot of the quotes. See, sometimes I think there's extra pages, but it's just me covering this page with the dotted line, and the same thing here. This one, I did a watercolor technique on this and then run it through my printer, and I think that's mainly the reason why I ended up covering a lot of the pages. It's because I ran the pages through the printer, like you can see here, and then sometimes it would be my own handwriting, which is, again, I have to accept that that's what my handwriting looks like, and practicing it obviously also makes it better, so I should continue practicing more. This was one of my very first times with this technique of using tissue paper. If you have seen some of my layouts on Instagram, I did a very quick little tutorial in my stories on how to adhere tissue paper to your pages, because I mean, look at this. This is just absolutely gorgeous, and I don't know if you would have known that that is tissue paper. And I was using, you can use decoupage to adhere the tissue paper, and then you can go over it again if you would like to protect it. In this instance here, I just use Elmer's glue, the little, let me see if I have one rolled here. One of these little glue sticks, and I just adhere it to the page. And because tissue paper is so fragile, you know, you just do it really quick, and that glue is not that strong, so it worked perfectly. If it gets a little crumbly, I think it adds texture and more, you know, something a little bit more fun to the page. So that was okay with me. So these two backgrounds here are both tissue paper, and it just worked out okay that they kind of match. When I started, I would do 2 layouts at once to try and keep everything kind of matching. But as you will see, my style started to change. Here I use paints and a lot of stamping. This over here, actually both of them, it's using a transparency. So you can see here, this is a transparency, and on this side, same thing. I was trying to use the same technique on both pages. So I printed the quotes on transparency. And like I said, this was some gesso, some pastel colors, and a lot of stamping. More transparency. This is, as you can see, I've only adhered it to the side over here because sometimes the glue will show when you attach your transparency to the page. In this case here, I use transparency, and then I backed it up with more tissue paper, and I used some staples to adhere the transparency to the tissue paper, and then I just glue the whole thing on top. And the background is using sprays like this one here. I use Heidi Swap. This is Recollections. Color Shine is the other one by Heidi Swap. So that's how I did that page. I come to know that the Color Shine does not warp your paper. It just dries. When it dries, it leaves the page like nothing. And so that's probably my go-to spray if I want to create that on my paper. You can see here, this page has been sprayed and there's hardly any warping going on the paper. I love this quote. You can kind of see a little flower that I printed here on the transparency along with the quote, and then I just added more flowers there. More transparency here. That was my thing at that point. I was just working. I loved it so much. I was, you know, using it as much as I could. And at this point, I was still trying to do 1 quote a day. Now here is something super hilarious. No, there is nothing wrong with your camera. I made this page upside down. Everything is correctly. And one day, I don't know what happened, and I grabbed the book the wrong way, and I started coloring and doodling, and I loved it so much. I was so happy how it turned out. Both of these quotes are by Albert Einstein. I wanted to create something that kind of matched, and so I picked Albert Einstein because he's got some amazing quotes. Creativity is contagious. Pass it on. So this is what I'm doing right now. And creativity is intelligence, having fun. And if that is true, then I must be a genius. Anyways, just a little humor there. October 18th, October 19th, and how silly that I made the page upside down, and obviously I just left it. I added some gesso. Let me turn it. I added some gesso to the background, so that's why you can kind of still see the lines. I thought that was beautiful. And this is watercolor over here. So that is what happened here. I just get a kick out of this page every time I see it. So continuing here, you know, just I was trying to always do something to the backgrounds. A lot of washi tape on this one. And this one, I must tell you that this is my own quote. Let's help our children turn life moments into lifetime memories. I am a believer that we should start helping our children develop their own creative outlets, hobbies, interests, explore their own creativity, and so that's where that came from. And I'm very proud of that one there. A lot of messy art here. This is just, there is some chalking on the background and then some watercolor splattering here with some washi tape. More printing on an old piece of a map. I love maps. I collect them and buy them whenever I can, whether at thrift stores or yard sales. Some punching going on here on the borders. Live your dream with passion, and today's moments are tomorrow's memories. This is still October. As you can see, I did pretty well the first month, and it just went downhill from there. I printed this. This was something straight from Pinterest, and I was able to grab it and just print it on this paper. Kept it simple. More exploring with my own handwriting, more watercoloring. I love watercolors. I feel like I need to do more of that. Going back to the tissue paper here, this was just a journal, a big Project Life card that came with a quote already, so I used that one. That was very easy. You can totally do that. Very easy, just attach it. It's already there for you. And here we go, November. So this was the whole month of October. November's theme, which is when I started the themes, was motivation. This is my own watercoloring here. And this I printed on this piece of paper, and I attached that there. I started trying to get creative with how I was doing the dates. A little progress each day adds up to big results. That is a great quote, my goodness. But this is why I love quotes, because you look at them and you read them and you immediately find some inspiration and just something uplifting about words that just sometimes get to me. So this one here, more tissue paper. This one was very time consuming. I actually cut the letters using my Cricut and Cricut. I always say Cricut. And the challenging part is that I wanted different fonts just to, again, create something very interesting on the page. But I did not do this again because cutting each letter, different colors, different fonts. But I love it. It says, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Absolutely beautiful. More transparencies. I used the same paper packed on both of these, just so that they could kind of match. I am thankful for my struggle, because without it, I would not have stumbled across my strength. So again, the theme for this month was motivation. So that's, if you are able to read all the quotes, that is the theme that goes with that. Mistakes are proof that I am trying. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. More transparencies. More transparencies. A lot of doodling on these pages here. More stamping, and the blue background is chalk. They're actually pastel chalks, and you just rub them on. Attitude is everything. Isn't that the truth? Oh boy, I am having so much fun revisiting these quotes here. I've totally forgotten about them. And I'm wondering if I have any that I have duplicated. I don't know. This is just more of that tissue paper, but instead of covering the whole page, I just tore different pieces and added them randomly. This is more a lot of mixed media, because I'm using paper, stamping, inks, and paper and stickers. So this is what we call mixed media. Some of my own coloring here, stickers, tissue paper, a little frame, and more chalk pastels on the background. This was again more mixed media. This is a stencil and I use some of the inks. Some days you just have to create your own sunshine. I mean, look at that, right? That is, again, I just love quote so much. You can do anything, but not everything. Oh, skipped a page there. Totally fine. My word for this year is surrender. My one little word. And what, you know, surrender has a negative tone, right? You're giving up. But in my case, what I am surrendering is trying to be perfect. I surrender to the fact that it's okay that I missed a page. I surrender then maybe today, you know what? I didn't get to work on a craft project like I intended to. So that is, it's my meaning behind the word surrender. It's almost like accepting, but I've already used that word, so I didn't want to use it again. So I am surrendering to what is and what I ended up doing and where I ended up for that day. More handwriting practicing here. Some stickers and some inks. This was another printout from Pinterest. Normally that's where I go get. A lot of people ask me, where do you find your quotes? It's always Pinterest. I have a board. If you're interested, it is under White Sugar Designs, just like everything else. And I have a big a board full of quotes, and it's called Words of Inspiration. And sometimes you can find free printables like this one here. So I just printed it, and this was very easy just to attach it to the page. I did something in French. I love anything French. I had printed this on an old book page and I added that there. I really love this technique. I think I have to try that again. That's another thing with these journals here. If you ever find yourself in a creative slump, visit your old junk journals, your scrapbook albums, anything that you have, and I promise you, you will find inspiration that you yourself are giving back to yourself. Does that make sense? Again, I surrender. It's totally fine that I started something and didn't finish it. This is a gorgeous tissue paper. I need to find that again. It would be easy for me just to come back and add something here, but look at how beautiful that looks. And in this instance here, I went back with some decoupage and cover the whole thing. It creates a smooth surface. So it kind of prepares it to add the next layer in your mixed media work. So, and nothing here. Here comes the month of December. That theme for that month, see, December 2016 was faith. More tissue paper here. Anytime I go to the stores or anywhere where I find inexpensive or even on clearance, if the tissue paper is beautiful, I grab it. This, you know what I did here? I just, well, actually, no, I thought I had just printed the blue square, but I actually printed. I put a blue background, then added the quote here, let your faith be bigger than your fear. And then I did a little bit doodling around it. Life with God is not immunity from difficulties, but peace in difficulties. C.S. Lewis. Just a little stamping here. This little bird and a little bit of watercoloring. And this I just, because I was working on both of these quotes on the same time, I just used the same washi tape to kind of, again, keep things looking cohesive. Again, sometimes keep things simple. This is just a page. I printed the quote and I added 2 stickers here. This was stamping. Same, obviously, stamp. I just switched the colors and I think it came out pretty neat. Accept what is, let go what was, and have faith in what will be. again, just printed the quotes from my computer. I usually create everything in Photoshop first. Photoshop kind of gives me the freedom to arrange things however I want, and obviously add images and also arrange them however I want. So I type the quote first, then I added each of the images and then brought them together. So each of these things becomes an individual image, and then like I said, I arranged them to form this little bouquet here. Printed that and some chalking around. More of my own handwriting and more stamping. These are Ravon flowers, absolutely beautiful. More handwriting and more doodling and some watercolors. Really like these little flowers here. It's just literally adding a little bit of watercolor in two different colors, a pink and an orange, and then go back with your really skinny marker and just add the doodle around. Washi tape to create some interest on that one. In this case, I added a puffy sticker here. Almost coming to the end here. Just kind of simple. In this case here, I wanted to use this white pen, so I added a really dark purple. Don't dig up and doubt what you planted in faith. I mean, that is beautiful. And then just some die cuts here. The struggle is real, but so is God. Just kind of simple. Sometimes, you know, I went a little bit more crazy, and sometimes, again, I kind of kept things simple. God can restore what is broken and change it into something amazing. All you need is faith. And that's a stamp there. This is a stencil on the background with some washi tape and a few little stickers here. I believe these were by Carpe Diem. I think they're Carpe Diem. And we're getting to the end. This is Christmas Day here. This quote, when I did this one, a Christmas prayer. Lord, you came upon a midnight clear to bring joy to the world and draw us near. It was a holy night when you came from above to fill our hearts with hope and love. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus, for clothing us with comfort and joy. Beautiful, beautiful. Just some simple stamping there. I kept it the same color, so luckily I had a stamp ink that kind of matched this paper here. Just wrote these by hand and in a different paper, and then cut the little strips and add them here with some more watercoloring. Same here. This is my own doodling here with some watercolor and my own handwriting. And we're coming to the end. This is paper, not tissue paper. This one here is tissue paper. Some doodling around each of these little strips there. Nothing there. And this must be the very end here. Nothing there. So what if you simply devoted this year to loving yourself more? So what a way to end it. This was just a very pretty paper. I just printed that, cut it, double matted, and then added the words Hello 2017 as I completed this quote journal. I'm very happy with it. I absolutely love it. And as you can see, it's really chunky, fun to look at, definitely a way to find inspiration if I find myself in a creative slump. So friends, that is it. I hope that you found this fun and inspiring to create your own. I will do another flip through video on this one here, and you will see how different this was, but just to give you again an idea of how you can create your own, just to give you a references in size. Let's pull this one out. We'll see how many quotes fit here. I didn't count how many pages, but I'm sure I'll end up with a couple of these at the end of 2018. So as you can see here, This is a regular TN. This is again that notebook that I found at a store. Maybe it was Home Goods, I think. So this year's quote journal is going to be a lot thinner. There you can see it, a lot thinner, but I will make it work. So then I will have 3 different examples of quote journals. So once again, friends, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found inspiration. Let me know if you have any questions, and I would love to see, or at least let me know if you are doing your own. Remember, there is a Facebook group called Creative Journals, and there is also a printout, a free printable in my blog under whitesugardesigns.com. So you can create your own quote journal using the themes for this year. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but you know, just go for it like I did at the beginning and see what happens. So I hope you have time to get creative today, and until next time, bye.